Welcome back, everyone, to another video. Here today, we will be going over the previous week of matches. If you are coming back on the regular or liking these CDL videos, let me know by clicking the like and subscribe button down below. Getting into it, our first matchup on Friday was Ultra versus Miami. My prediction was a 3-1 Ultra. I thought Miami could take the first map in a hardpoint Rio, but I was wrong. It did go to Rio, but Ultra did beat them 250 to 184 first game. Metals played well. Eric struggled in his debut. Scrap with a sub this day did look pretty good. They ended up losing game 1 because Envoy got like a 2-piece, and then on rotation to P4, then they just held the cross and locked that down. On the second rotation, Ultra really just put it to them, and then from P3 to P4, they got Miami got 0 time. And then in the S&D, it was a 6-4 Ultra's way. A couple rounds, like 2 and 4, it was just Ultra. They just rushed mid, and Ultra just won. A lot of retakes throughout the game. If whoever got mid control was usually winning, though. There was only a couple rounds that Miami was lucky enough to get a retake. There's a couple that Miami played bad on. They planted, then Vickle was watching their backside, and Eric had to make a play, and Eric got one, but there was Kleenex hopped, and then inside was just covering them. But so Eric had to try to make a play to get them off, but then Vickle was just in the back, just watching the flank, and no one flanked through the back. They just went right to the bomb, so that kind of costed them that round. But yeah, just a lot of Ultra just controlled B really well, and that's really what it came down to. And then the control was a 3-2 control. Vickle, in the first couple rounds, Vickle made a play towards B, but no one could, or round 1, Vickle made a play to B, but no one else could get a kill. No one else on his team really stood out to get a kill, so it left Vickle out to dry back there. And then round 2, Ultra just pushes to B, and then they got ticks on B and just had to push back to A, got A, then went right back for a little bit of ticks on B, and it was looking like it was over. Holy crap, this is going to be a 3-0 just slam. I mean, it was already a 3-0 slammage, but this was going to be a fast map. Then round 3, they were 9 lives up. Ultra shoots Scrap shoots a body, and then he doesn't get a kill after that for a while, and then Miami bring it all the way back to win that round. They were down 9 lives. It was 24 to 15 on lives, then it was 10 to 18 on lives. Then at the end, it was 9 to 11, and Miami ended up winning the attack. And then they went to the defensive round, and Miami only died 6 times in the single round. Eric got a streak. Vickle also got one. And then in the last round, good round, and then Ultra got 4 dead on their way to B, and then it was just over, and Miami could not come back from that after going 4 dead. And then we'll get right into the next game. Carolina and New York Subliners was the next matchup. New York ended up taking this at a 3-2 reverse sweep. On the first map, sub-base, New York slammed Carolina to the first 100 points. Then Carolina came back, and it was a tight game after that. Then Clay used a streak, and it was a bad time to just use it. They didn't get anything out of it. And then Paco, he could have definitely got on the point in that P1 at the very end, and he wasted at least 10 seconds, and he got the kills, and then he just went and tried to kill Horde and went up. But they ended up losing this map 250 to 245, so they lost by 5, and he wasted at least 10 seconds he could have got, because he could have played the back of the hill with his teammates looking over him, because his teammates did die, but they were coming off spawn, and so was Carolina. He knew he had one guy above him, but all he had to do was kill one guy or get out there and just play his life. But he decided to go under, and when he was just in the building, I think it was Fellow up top. He just like stayed up there, and then that costed subliners 10 seconds. So I don't know if it was a miscommunication on his part or what it was, but I feel like that was a really rough way to lose your first map there, because that could have easily been won. Then on the second one, I mean, it was Invasion 6-1 to Carolina. A lot of it is just like Gwyn pops a 2, Felony pops a 2. There was one round Hydra planted and Clay hopped it right away, and Hydra didn't even check it. So they got the round win right after that. And really in this map, Kismet was the only player shooting back at him. Everyone else was not even in the map. Then we get to map 3, high-rise control. First round, Gwyn gets at least like 2 to 3 two-pieces. Fellow was looking good. Gwyn was running a sub around 2, so that was looking good to see him. And then they ended up winning the round on ticks, so they didn't even have to go down to live, so that was looking good for them. Then round 2 happened. New York outslayed them by 12 kills, but they only ended up getting 4 ticks, so Carolina was up by 2 ticks on them. Then round 3, New York go 4 dead. So it looking like Carolina can really get some progress going. But Civ comes out. He pops a 2. Hydra gets 1 from mid-map to kill them and get them off the points. Then round 4, New York only got to the hill. I mean, it felt like the whole round, it was maybe like 2 times. Like, it was so nice to see Ravens like actually get a good hold there, because Clay's teams have never been good at control, so it's nice to see Clay's teams having a good round. Then round 5, Skies masterclass, played great, kept Ravens in the spawn trap for a bit, but his team was getting spawn trapped by Gwyn and TJ. So Skies was just trying to play his life for his team to kill the spawn killers and then move up. Hydra almost threw the game again, because instead of stacking the point, he ended up going to the boxes and looking for kills above instead of just stacking and ending the game right away. So I feel like that was just a misplay by him again. It would have been nice like for him to get kills, but he died like instantly anyway, so like it would have just been better for him to stack the point there and get the ticks right away. Then they move on to map 4. New York, everyone fried on New York. TJ spawned out, and then all his teammates dropped the gunfight, and they scored around 10 points on the second rotation of Invasion. It was rough, 250 to 100. I mean, they were looking tough the first rotation, and then after that, it just fell right away. Kismet did get blessed with a spawn in the back for P3, and then that's really what it changed the first set of rotations. So right from P3, it just changed right from there. And then map 5 is about the same as map 4. It's a 6-1 slammage by New York. It was just rough to see Ravens falter like this. Clay left in a 1v3. He just couldn't do anything right there. A lot of questionable. Like, they tried to push B on Karachi without a smoke. So, like, they just ran out and got blasted because, like, I mean, you could just look at them without having a smoke there. And then they just played a lot of rough rounds there. Overall, throughout the map, no one on the Ravens had a positive KD. The closest was Gwyn at a .92, and subliners all had above a 1 KD. Hydra had exactly a 1, but Kismet really came out today. He had a 1.36, so that was good to see Kismet kind of come back and play, and then we'll get right into the next match. On Saturday, we had the Boston Breach and Carolina Royal Ravens play. Boston ended up winning in a 3-1. First map was Invasion, a 250 to 222 in Boston's favor. And ASIM ended up playing okay in this game. He dropped a .84, but Priesta and Slasher really showed out in this game. Gwyn on the Royal Ravens, he was a 1.63 in this game, but his team was all below a .9. But in Boston, you could really tell that Asim made a difference in this game because when his two ARs were frying, and then him and Snoopy were kind of making timely plays as it went, and then he got the second amount of hill time, so he helped Slasher get hill time and let Snoopy and Priesta kind of go out and slay, which really opened up Priesta during this map. Then in map 2, this is where Carolina won 6-4. It was basically 2v2. Slasher had 12, Snoopy had 11, Clayster had 12, TJ had 13. Gwen had a rough map here at 3 and 10, but Asim had a rough map too with 1 and 9. It's really just adjusting for him because this is a different team for him, so he's really going to have to adjust and search to being a bomb carrier and all that. So I assume this will get better in the future. And then in map 3, it was high rise 3-2 Boston. Asim went off. I mean, he had a 1.52. Snoopy played well with a 1.24. And then same story with Carolina. Clay, Felony, TJ all in the red. Gwen with a +7 kills, 1.27 KD. It was a masterclass by Asim, really. Slasher and Priest are still making their plays throughout the game, but Asim really made his presence be felt during this map here. And then in map 4, we got Karachi 250 to 221. Asim +3 a 1.1, Priesta a 1.3, Slasher a 1.2, Snoopy a 1.1. Gwen struggled this match. Felony did have a 1.0 KD, so this is the only match that someone besides like Gwen had a positive KD besides like S&D, and that is the biggest story with Carolina right now. They just struggle to get kills throughout the day, and that is the biggest worry that I have for Carolina coming in to the next couple weeks, is that they just, in Respawn, they struggle to get kills. Next match was Atlanta versus Heretics. 3-1 Atlanta. Heretics took the first map, subbase 250 to 151. This is Atlanta's worst hardpoint map, so it was nice to see them kind of play it through. You know, someone that they can probably beat on an easy day, play it through, try to get some reps on it. Draws a really rough map here. Simp still played pretty well. Eric had a rebound series this game. He had dropped a 1.4 in map 1. He played well throughout the series. It's nice to see Atlanta kind of try to expand their map pool. They still need to get better because losing to Miami by 100 on that map, not very good. High rise 6-5 Atlanta. Abizi was just slaying out of his mind on this one. 10 and 6 throughout the game. 3 first bloods on the Search and Destroy 2. He looked great. And really, the only one on Miami, Metals had a good game. Everyone else kind of around even, 0.86 around there. And they ended up struggling. But they still took it to a round 11. And I think if they would have won the round 11, they would have ended up winning the series. Or could have took them to a map 4 and won the series. But this control coming up next, it was rough to see. Draza, masterclass. I mean, Lucky a 0.5, Vickle a 0.5 in this map. I mean, they really struggled during this control. So that's one thing they're going to have to figure out, how to play control. Eric and Metals looked really solid this map, a 0.9, 0.2. So in the KDs, it doesn't seem like they did, but they were the highest KDs on the team that they had, which is sad to say. But, I mean, when you have a BZ +8, Draza +14, I mean, it's going to be hard to set up, especially if you're ARs, if you're getting gunned down by them the whole entire game. So Then they bring it to a map for Rio, which I thought Heretics had a good chance of winning this one because this is a Smash map, so that's right into Heretics game mode, but everyone just ended up not doing good. A BZ +8, Celium +7 on this map, Simp +8, and all of Miami, .97 was the highest. I mean, they just struggled in this map, which is very shocking to me. So we'll see how they look in the coming weeks, and we'll move on to the next. Subliner's second match of the weekend on Saturday night, 3-0, the Seattle Surge. They played Hardpoint Subbase 250-189 in favor of Subliners. Everyone on the Subliner, Skies had a really good map. Abuza on Seattle had a good map. He looked really nice on the AR, but everyone else seemed to struggle. And on the Seattle Surge, that's their biggest thing right now, is everyone's just struggling to get kills, basically. So I hope they get to work on that throughout the week here. But New York looked well. They looked good throughout the map. I wasn't really worried about Seattle taking it. And then in map 2, it's a 6-3 terminal for Subliners. Hydra here, 12-4 throughout the map. He was just putting on a clinic. Arcides really struggling with a .22, 2-9. Brezzy did pretty good here, 7-7. Abuza 6-6. So it's really that Arcides has to pick it up here for this search. But really, Illy was their playmaker. Without Illy being their playmaker in Search and Destroy, I really feel like they're going to struggle in that game mode. And even in the killing department, they really struggled throughout the year. And with their best player going out, that's really going to suck. And it's really going to not help their killing at all. They go into map 3, control high-rise. And New York just 3-0 them, all over 1.0s on the board for New York. If you guys can go and watch the second round of this control, it is the most pitiful thing I think I've seen. New York got 2 bodies on, I think there was 1 or 2 on A. Then they were on B, got it, and then they went to like where the propane was and all that. And all of Seattle, they were on the midpoint, and they just did not challenge them at A at all. And it was like, one of them, it's like, do they notice? But, like, it took them till, like, they got 2 ticks to even start moving. So by the time they got there, they slayed them 1, slayed them 2, and then they were dead. Like, it was wild to, like, just watch it, because, like, they literally, it's like, okay, enemies taking the zone. And then once they got 2 ticks, they finally moved out of mid to go over there. Like, they were just holding the other control point, and they just like, they can collect that if they want. And then like they got 2 ticks and they finally noticed, hey, we should probably go over there. So that was just astonishing to see like what they were thinking when that was going on. And we'll get on Sunday, we had the LA Guerrillas take on the Paris Legion. 250-192 Karachi. First out of the hard point, Legion win. Geo on the AR, Purge coming in with a sub. He drops a 1.05 first map. He looked good, looked great on the sub. And in the interview, Attach did give props to Purge. You know, he did play like a submachine gun, played aggressive with his AR. So they just put him on the SMG, and he looks real good on it. Assault and Diamond Con, well, really, the LA Guerrillas, they all had around a 0.95 to 1.1 around there. Esriel did have a 0.8, so that is something, but no one on their team really stood out, especially when Attach has a 1.33, Nero has a 1.6. I mean, them Las Vegas boys were frying this round. They get into the search. It's a 6-2 Guerrillas. Rough match for Vegas. They just did not look good. Diamond Con with a 2.25. Assault looked great. And then when the tides turn, match 3, High Rise, 3-2 Vegas Legion. Attach drops a 1.88. Purge does drop a 0.8, but Assault drops a 0.38. And, I mean, if I have a teammate dropping 0.3, there's not much you can do. You just kind of just got to roll with it because, I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean, they got lucky. They took it to 5 rounds here, especially with him dropping a 0.38. That is just something you don't see every day. So, that's one of them things. I mean, it just happens. So I don't really know how good Paris's control is going to be because, I mean, they beat Gorillas on it and they barely beat them while one of their guys was dropping a 0.38. So that's something to look forward to in the coming weeks. And then we get to the hardpoint Rio, 250, 238, 6. Paris Legion do close it out 3-1 against the Gorillas. Attach with another 1.14, Nero 1.3, and Purge with a 1.0. Assault with another rough map 0.7 here. But Fame looked great throughout this. He was dropping a 1.9, and in this map he dropped a 1.3. So, I mean, he looked good throughout this whole series. But the Gorillas really got to find star power, maybe find someone for Assault because he is really struggling right now. So we'll look in the coming weeks and then after the major to see if they want to replace him. Legion, New Look Legion with Geo, they look solid. Now, they did only just beat LAG, so we'll really see how good they are coming up. But this is a good start. You have to beat the small guys to be able to battle with the bigger dogs. We'll get right to the next one. The second battle for Sunday was against Toronto Ultra versus the Minnesota Rocker. Toronto Ultra takes in a 3-2 fashion. 250, 156 Skid Row. Toronto do take first hardpoint. Really, everyone on Rocker struggled besides Lens. And then on Toronto, everyone had a great map besides Kleenex, but Kleenex, you know, is going to be that Smash Mouth player. So with everyone else, especially on Skid Row, having a good map, they pretty much cleaned it up for them. Moving on to Search and Destroy, 6-5 Ultra does take it again in the Karachi Search and Destroy. I mean, it was a great map to play. Awakening finally showed up here. Lamar did accuracy did have a rough map here, but it's good to see Wake at least help in the SND here because he is their one X factor. They need him slaying because once he gets to slaying, they are going to be really freaking good. Like they're going to be battling for top 4, 5-ish. They're already 5 basically, so they'll be battling for top 4 if Awakening gets to that big Wake slaying power. So if he can get to that slaying power, that's what Minnesota Rocker need, and he showed it here in the search. Then in map 3 control, they got a couple 4 deads, and that's how they got to B to secure it. Accuracy 30 and 20. Awakening with a 0.9, but everyone else had a 1.1 basically. And then Ultra, Scrap had a rough map. Insight had a rough map. With Accuracy having a 1.5, Insight and Scrap are going to definitely have to have a bad map if they go to that. But Accuracy kept it up even after the control. And going into the Rio, we had Accuracy with a +8. He had a 1.4. Awakening with a 1.05. And then Scrap, him and Insight really struggled throughout this map. He did look pretty good against Miami the first day, but this day on the sub, he did not look as good. He had dropped a 0.9, but his gameplay didn't look as smooth with having the sub, and then Awakening looked pretty solid with the sub in this map, so it's going to be, hopefully, Rio comes into play for Minnesota a lot more, having Awakening guard that, have that rival in his hands more than the MCW. Then we get the map 5, 6-0 Toronto Ultra. Lamar gets 1 kill, Envoy gets 9 kills, and the Scrap gets 8. And everyone on Rocker really just had a rough map. There was like a cold zone, how Octane kind of put it. There was a cold zone on the map, and it was right in the middle of the map. It was like weird because like Awakening, he could have triggered Discipline. Nope, he fires. He doesn't wait for Vivid to watch over him. He peeks up, and then he gets killed mid-map, and then Vivid gets a trade right away, but that's Awakening mid-map dead. That could have made a play there, and then he had bomb and just chows mid, lays bomb right in mid. So it was a real shock to see what they were doing, like that map, and they just got chalked. There was a little bit of technical difficulties throughout this, but I think with all that, and then how the first and second round ended, they just chalked that map up, and then we'll get right into the final series was between Los Angeles Thieves and Optic Texas. Optic Texas takes us in a 3-0 fashion. Hardpoint, Rio, 250, 122, Optic. This is Pred and Shotzi's playground right here. Between them, they dropped a 1.25 and a 1.5 respectively between them. They just ran circles around them. Now, they were playing LAT between Afro and Crimp as SMG duo on their side, and they are a new SMG duo, so that might have had something to do with it, but I really was looking forward to see Afro, like, be unlocked a little bit, but Afro just had a rough series throughout this, and yes, they are playing Optic Texas, but it's these maps that, okay, he's that next SMG that he can take advantage, especially on Rio, like, hey, he can hang with these guys. He's going to be able to hang with a lot of people throughout the day. Then they go to map 2, a 6-3 Karachi, Optic Texas favor. Pred, 8 and 4. Everyone else got about 7 kills for Texas. But, Thieves, Crimp had a positive KD, but everyone on their team, they just look so not playing together. Now it is Search, so Search is going to take a little bit longer for them to actually get like a hold of. So that is something I know to look for because I know they're not going to play all their Search rounds. So it's not like they're going to have all the routes and everything memorized already. So that's something they can work on, but it was really just a lackluster performance. Then we'll get into the control, and they had so many opportunities in this control, especially round 5. They take it. They have the control. Ghosty drops a 1.1. Nasty drops a 1.0. But Afro drops a 0.63. And even though Optic has 3 guys above a 1.0, this Los Angeles Thieves lost this for them. Like, they literally had so many chances to take A, but Afro just, he tweaked. He didn't hold his irons for that long, and then Pred kills him. He's going to win. And he basically wins them the whole entire round 5. And, it don't come often that you can win a offense on control on invasion, but they had it in the bag. They had it where they could just kill them. But Pred just had a masterclass and literally killed them 3 straight times. He won all his ones that he needed to win the map, and it was just impressive. Now, this is a rough start for Thieves to have to go against Optic Texas, but, you have to show something against the big 3 for you to be like, hey, we saw this against them. Let's try if we can use this in the future. Okay. But, Afro might be on the hot seat. Joe Deceives might come in for him after this weekend if he drops another dud here. Nasty looked good with Ghosty, and then Crimp did have a rough overall series at a 0.7. Everyone just struggled this series, but Afro is that next guy on the hot seat to really be looking towards who we can get in for him. But, Joe Deceives is on the bench still, so we'll see if he comes in. And then Optic Texas, this is what you should do. If you have a not a superior team that you're facing, you need to demolish them, and that is what Optic did. So this will give Greenwall fans a very nice display of what they can do when they face non-superior talent and teams. And if you like this guys video, let me know down below. I'll give you guys more reactions to the previous week. I'm going to try to get this video out earlier for you guys before the matches come up even more. So let me know down below if you guys are liking it. Leave a comment. You guys in the next one.